Good afternoon, everybody. Scott Rader here. I'm coming to you from Colorado, where it's a balmy 30 degrees outside. So first of all, I want to welcome everybody to this session with Mark Wyatt of Regions Bank. Really interesting topic here today. Mark is coming to us with an opportunity to engage across certain areas in Alabama in terms of supporting research activities. So I don't want to steal his thunder, but with this, I'm going to turn it over to Mark. And Mark, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much, Scott. We've been working on this compact with the University of Alabama since about March, and made a trip up to the College of Engineering and met with Dean Carr and some of his staff. And they were very interested and felt like this was something that they would like to explore further with the Bedsole Foundation. And to give you a little background, the Bedsole Foundation owns about 30,000 acres of land in southwest Alabama and southeast Mississippi. It's principally timberland. It's mostly hardwood and pine, about 50% pine. We have riverfront property, property that goes down into the bottomland hardwoods between the Tombigbee and the Alabama rivers, and also some along the Black Warrior River in Greene County. The property is located in about 8 counties. Now, Mr. Bedsole is deceased. He set up a charitable foundation upon his death, and the bank, Regions Bank, is one of the corporate co-trustees. And Mr. Bedsole was very philanthropic. He made all his money in a sawmill business and acquiring timberland, and also a medical supply business. And he left all of his assets in trust to benefit various charities. And the other co-trustees, along with the bank, decided that one of the major thrusts of the foundation would be to support scholarships for college students, primarily in Southwest Alabama, but regardless of wherever they wanted, whichever university they wanted to attend. And so currently we have about 30 students up in Alabama. There are many others at other universities, but we're supporting them through scholarships. And there's been about 156 students that we've supported at the University of Alabama over the course of time. And I got a list there of the gifts that the foundation has made, just to let you know how generous the foundation has been with the university over the years. We were thinking about leveraging these assets that we manage. We have a portfolio of stocks and bonds, of course, but the timberland comprised about 50% of the assets of the foundation. And it's an active working forest, and it generates proceeds which are distributed to other charities and students and universities, hospitals, museums, and so forth. But we thought we could put this property to more use and open it up to universities for research, study, as a living laboratory, a place where field trips could be conducted by students, where research and study could be done. There are a lot of people around today that have a disconnect with the land, and we felt like that this would be an opportunity for them to get out and disconnect with their devices and reconnect with nature. The engineering department has several projects that we potentially could become a partner with. There's a groundwater research study that's going on. Plus, there's also a wastewater treatment study in Newbern, Alabama, for the disposal and treatment of sewage. And we're looking at possibly partnering with those universities, Alabama being one, and hopefully use some of that treated effluent to irrigate the pine plantations on some of the property up in Marengo and Greene County. So that would be a win-win for everybody if we could do that. But there are also other things on the property that could be studied. There are archaeological sites down in the forks of the river in Clark County and also up in Greene County. There's a good assemblage of fossils that you would have to get out and, of course, locate and study. There are opportunities for studying various biological sciences, fungi, the plants, the animals. You could inventory, study, and take samples. So the property is really, we're opening it up as a living laboratory or a place to for anybody at the university that wants to come and do additional research and study if it fits in with their plans. So in a nutshell, that's where we are. We were able to get this reviewed, this permit agreement by the legal department, and they approved it. And we were able to get this agreement signed in September. And of course, there will have to be certain protocols that are adhered to. We had to have notice when someone wants to go into the property because there are gates and there are active logging operations in some of the property. So we have to be concerned about safety. And of course, some of the property is leased for hunting, and we would want to take the necessary precautions there. But otherwise, just about anything the university would want to do, and the faculty and the students, as long as they're supervised, could be done on the property, as long as it didn't negatively impact the property itself. I've included some maps in the handout. Those are general location maps. If anyone needs additional maps, more detailed maps, we have shape files for those. And of course, we have an inventory of all the stands of timber on the property. We're also looking at putting this property under a conservation easement, and there will be a biological inventory and assessment done by a biologist on our behalf, and which will denote special natural areas and rare and endangered or threatened species. And that will be part of our conservation easement to protect those areas. So that is generally my presentation for today. We were hoping that the geological sciences, the biology area, archaeology, the engineering department, New College, any of those colleges that would be interested can get in touch with me or our forester, Pete Bertucci, here in Mobile at the Natural Resource Office and at Regions, and we'd be glad to assist them any way we can and see if we could accommodate whatever it is they want to do out there in the way of study and research.
Mark, this is Scott Rader, and just a quick question. I want to make sure. So there's really no cost to do research on this land. It's you just have to fill out a series of paperwork. It's fertile territory, I guess, in a way to be explored from a research perspective because it's been kind of put off limits. And I just want to emphasize, folks, again, there's no cost doing this, correct?
That is correct. Some of the folks in engineering and like all good university faculty, they always ask if there are any availability of funds. And that is something that we're looking at. The co-trustees are, and it might be that we do a change of direction, but there are probably students right now enrolled in these curriculums that are looking to do projects or research or study. And we have a list of those students, of course, and they're in the classroom there at Alabama. And we just want to make this property available free of charge to the university. We've also partnered with Auburn. We've partnered with the University of South Alabama. And as y'all know, y'all partner at various times on research projects with them, and they're on a team. And so we felt it was important to have other universities involved.
All right. So if anyone on the stream right now has any questions, just unmute yourself and Mark will answer them.
Yeah. One other hang on a second here. One other quick question. Have any surveys been done on this land to date that we can get hold of?
Scott, Not that I'm aware of. We have in the course of working in the woods, located accidentally some of the archaeological sites, especially in Clark County. And that was a heavily Native American site settled. And some very significant artifacts that we found down there. And we've asked Moundville if those sites have already been studied and inventoried. Of course, those maps aren't made public. And we found out that they were not on the register. So there could be some virgin sites there that could be studied. As far as biology, no, we don't have any information about that. We do have the various forestry types mapped and the habitat. We have not done a biological study, but like I said, we're going to have one of those done at some point when we get around to doing the conservation easement.
Hey, Mark, Nick, how are you doing today?
Fine.
Good to see you. Do you know of any particular fossil localities on any of these properties?
Nick, there are some on the surface on the tract at Linden. It's north of Linden. And I was up there earlier this summer. And of course, that ground up there is clay, chalky, and there's an assemblage of fossils there. A lot of the land that is along the rivers is not exposed. It's been covered by, alluvium. And so Greene County would have been a good site, but, it's overflow land. And so there's a layer of alluvium there. Down at Gainestown that would be the Alabama River, we have some limestone outcrops down there, and there are actually some small caves there along the exposure of the riverbank. So those are the known places I've personally visited that I know where there's some fossils.
Thanks. It's great that you all are doing this. I think it provides a great opportunity for students to get out there and do some work. So thanks.
Well, you're welcome. We appreciate it, and appreciate the Alabama and everything they've done for the students and the people of the state.
Hi, Mark. My name is Tyler, and I'm a graduate student at Alabama working in Sumter County. And you mentioned that you had a handout with the map of the distribution of the land. Do you know where I can find that?
I will send that to you, Tyler. You registered now,
Okay.
probably late. I send it to you in a bit.
Okay, perfect.
And Tyler, those will be small scale maps in color indicating the various tracts. But if you need larger scales maps, we have those in the shape files to go with them. And we can send that to you if you'll just contact me in Mobile.
Okay, I'll let you know. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Fine, Matthew.
I'm a professor in the geography department, and I use tree rings to study past climate, like floods and droughts, for example. And so I'm mostly interested in maybe finding old growth forests to sample. I mean, I know that's not necessarily much of it out there, but I didn't know if you knew of any of locations where there might be, cull trees, or maybe Pete does, or I don't know how much you guys have documented that or not.
Tyler, when we started managing this property, there was a tremendous amount of old growth forest there. And it was actually a climax forest in the hardwood. A lot of value out there and a lot of demand for those trees. Some of the trees had actually almost had outgrown the size for the sawmill to take them. They could only take a certain size log in their mill. But over the course of time, in the past 15 or 20 years, we have been working through those stands. And of course, the hardwoods are regenerated naturally. So there are some large trees still out there, but not as many as there used to be. And of course, on the upland pine sites, pretty much new growth, unless you get down into the stream side management zones. But down in Washington County, near the area of Sunflower, we do have some hardwood timberland in that area along the river, and there would be a lot of cypress there, and red oak, poplar, those type species, black gum, and definitely you could have access to those areas, and Pete and Todd, our other forester, could get you in there and show you around anytime you want to go look.
Okay, that'd be great. I appreciate it. And I want to follow up Nick and just say thank you for thinking about us and doing this. This is a really great opportunity, I think.
Anybody else online that may have some more questions for Mark?
I guess I just had a quick question just to follow up. So in regards to like looking at some of these properties, the best mechanism is to maybe contact you about potentially getting out. I'm a biologist and I'm interested in aquatics. And so some of the sites on the Alabama River might be of interest, and perhaps the Black Warrior River. So I was just curious, is that the best mechanism, is to contact you?
It would be, Carla. Just contact me at, I'll give you my phone number, 251-690-1346. Or you can contact me at mark.wyatt, W-Y-A-T-T, at regions.com. And then I'll get you in contact with our forester, and we can arrange for the access to the property. And, generally, initially I would think you'd just kind of want to do some reconnaissance for a day or so and kind of get a feel for what we have, and then zero in on any particular site that was of interest.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. It's really awesome to have the opportunity to look at some of these sites along these big rivers. So appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Carla. Anybody else? Well, Mark, thank you again for presenting. I mean, Stephanie has your contact information. Again, we'll share it out to the broader audience within our listserv so that they are aware of it. And hopefully this will be a perfect union between Regions and the Bedsole Foundation and the University of Alabama.
Well, let's hope so. That's our intention. And please spread the word and let your other faculty members know that this resource is available. And we'll be glad to work with them any way we can. We want to have this agreement. The agreement is for a 10-year period initially. So we knew that some of the studies and research would take a while. We can extend those agreements, and hopefully this will be fruitful for everybody. I appreciate the opportunity today. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mark.
Good to see you, Mark.
everybody.
Thanks.